Okay, a while back I did a video on identifying the problematic crankshaft pulleys on the M1112 and M113 engines. We went over that, the serial number and everything, and I finally got around to replacing mine. I have one of the problematic ones, so I'm going to swap it. I've got the Febby original from the factory. I think it's about 150 bucks. I'm in Canada. Your price may vary. It comes with a replacement bolt, which is a 27mm. I also highly recommend you spend another $50 and grab yourself the crankshaft removal tool, the holder tool, which basically fits into the new crankshaft. I'm going to be putting rubber shrink wrap around these brass ends so they don't mar the metal surface on the casting here. You'll see that slips into there, and that's what holds it in place. Your original bolt may be, I think it's, is it 10mm? I think it is a 10mm Allen headed bolt, the original one. I'm not going to know till I get this one out. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. And I think there's a video on YouTube where a guy makes his own holder removal tool out of a floor flange, like a closet flange, a cast iron closet flange for plumbing. If you're using a 27mm bolt, it's not going to work. You can't get a closet flange that's going to be big enough for the bolt and a socket to get through, and also be small enough to fit inside the center of the crankshaft. So, by the way, this is about 50 bucks from KTC Automotive Tools online. I think it's about $55. Okay, let me make sure the camera's... That's good enough. A couple things you're going to have to pull off. You're going to have to pull off your engine cover, the plastic engine cover, which just pops off. Airbox. Unclip the coolant hose, the overflow hose. Undo the two clips going into the mouth. Pull the front air snorkel off. Stick that there, and then it just pulls out. We've gone over this before. I'm sure you guys know how to do this, but just in case. Come on up, you. My bottom one is sticky. There we go. Okay. Sorry for Gorilla Pod noises, they're a little squeaky. Electric fan shroud down here. Can you see? I don't know that you can. Again, sorry for the noise. Right there. Electrical connector for the engine fan. Shit, phone ringing. Okay, unplugging electric fan, get back in a second. Okay, apologies, can't control when the phone rings. Anyway, I unhooked the electrical connector. Two clips on top, I've already loosened them. They just pop off, these two pop clips on the front. Pull the overflow hose away, lift the fan straight up. Come on, you. It will go past this cooling hose, and it's just a little bit of a bugger. So there's the whole fan shroud assembly. That's about all you're going to have to take off. And pull this hose back now and clip it back up here so it's not in our way. And there we have the crank pulley. Let's find out what size that bolt is. Assorted. Much bigger. Nice. Let's try 19 millimeter. 19's too big. Better be a 17. Oh, yes it is. Or is that a Torx? No, that's an Allen. Yeah, it's a 17. Okay, so we're going to set up for this and be back in a minute. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Your lower engine shroud, the bottom one, 4 8mm bolts, pull that off. I've already got that off. And yeah, back in a minute. Okay, attempt number 2. Jack stands didn't work. Excuse the squeaky's going to go on. Just got a 4x4 block of wood here on top of the frame. I've run an extension, like just a half-inch socket extension into the handle and up underneath the transmission coolant line, just in case, or the rad coolant line. Or is that a tranny coolant line? No, it's a rad coolant line. Just to make sure it doesn't get crushed if anything slips. Excuse the squeakies. And let's give this a shot again. Now this thing's on here like at somewhere around 300 foot-pounds. So it is going to be a bitch. Danger. Pushing. Wow. It's not being liked. Oh, Christ. Need more torque. Hold on. Piece of pipe. It's about 5 feet long. So hopefully, if you be prepared to be smashed, because this thing might come down on the camera. I don't give a shit about the camera, but I do give a shit about my fender. So behind you I have put a cloth over the fender. Jesus, look at the bend on that. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just laying this whole thing down. I hope that was the nut loosening off. Okay, back off again. Come on. Problem with 6-sided sockets is they don't have a lot of wiggle room. There we go. Okay. Give that a little more. Does not seem to be budging at all. enjoy the show. This could be you. It is moving, unless that is the socket moving inside the bolt, which I hope the frick it is not. I will be very unhappy if it is. Okay, resetting again. Come on out of there. Okay, so it is loose. Yay me. Off we go. Okay, just gonna grab a 1/2 inch wrench. Back in a second. Okay, back again. Another quick tip, leave the drive belt, the serpentine belt on while you're doing this. It's gonna provide the slightest bit of extra help, resistance to, oh, once that's loose, that is loose. Once it's broken off, it's just barely on there. Okay, sweet. Okay, I can remove the pulley holder. Come off of there, you. Let's not fart that skin against metal. Excuse it. Okay. And pull that bolt out. Original bolt, thread locked, and we will be thread locking the new one. Okay. So, oh yeah, I do not have one of those. Crap, I always forget that. I need that security socket to move the pulley, the idler pulley. Thank God I have a wrapped in electrical tape. Sorry, I'm going to move you again. Wrapped in electrical tape pry bar, and I'm going to gently put a little bit of, and this is going to be a bit of a bitch. I'll put a little bit of force on the pulley so I can get the serpentine belt off. And I keep reminding myself to get that pulley, or that bolt. Remember the way your belt goes. If you don't, take a picture. Well, isn't that special? I've got my stupid pry bar stuck. Okay, belt off. And mostly out of the way. Now you're just going to, can you see? Sorry, squeaky noise. 1 second. There we go. We should be able to just pull this off. It should just wiggle out nicely. Thank God it is. Okay. There's going to be a little woodruff locator key, like that. A little slot. Oops. Helps if I right in camera view. A little locator pin like that. That's what lines this up and match marks it to the crankshaft. Or else you're just throwing it off. Where is it? It should be. I hope it's in there. I'm assuming it is. Okay, I put a tiny little bit of lubricant on the inside of the new crankshaft pulley, and I'm going to slide it over there and turn until I can feel it lock onto that woodruff key. Which it has. 100% sure it has. So I'm going to take my new 27mm nice shiny bolt and thread lock it. You do not have to go all the way around with thread lock. It spreads itself as you turn it in. Stick that in and tighten by hand till it comes up to where it wants to be tightened. Okay, I gotta wrap, I have to wrap those little feet in some electrical tape. I'll be back, or some shrink wrap, back in a minute. Okay, I've wrapped the little feet on this in red electrical tape. Sorry I didn't show you that, but just the little brass feet are wrapped in electrical tape. And I'm now bracing under the boxed rail of the frame here in this hole. There, I've checked underneath, there's nothing but a boxed rail. So let's stick this camera down and see what happens. Now for this step you're going to have to use a torque wrench because the initial torque is 200 Newton meters or 150 foot-pounds of torque. Where is my bolt? One. And my extension. There it is. Okay. 27mm socket with a 2-inch extension. And a torque wrench, which you're not going to need a cheater bar on this. 150 pounds is only, it's pretty small. So you're going to tighten it until you do your 150 pound click on the torque wrench. It should be this pull. Okay, now the fun part. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to lock it so it doesn't move. So this is where it is. Now the next step is, after you've got to 150 foot-pounds, you have to go 90 degrees is the final tightening. It's not torque, it's not a torque value, it's not a tightening value, it is 90 degrees. So it's 150 foot-pounds initial torque and then 90 degrees. So if you've got a square or a straight edge, you can basically measure along here, measure out, and then you'll see where you have to turn your wrench to. And this is going to have to need an extension. So I'm going to grab a square and back in a second. Okay, it took a little bit of fitting to get the cheater bar lined up right, because I want 90 degrees to be end up here. When I'm torquing, I don't want to be down on the other side in the engine down here, because I can't reach down there with it. So I'm going to pull up on the bar until there's tension, and then with a square I'm measuring 90 degrees, and I'm just making a mark on the rad hose with my fingernail. Very scientific. So basically when it is pointing at this little coupling, you can see over here, when it's pointing right here, oh, you still can't see, sorry. When it's pointing at this, that's when I'm going to be at 90 degrees. So I'm going to start off with no cheater bar and just yank, because the cheater bar won't go back down as far as I'm pulling this. So keep it tensioned. Flip my pipe over. Wow. .90 degrees. plus or minus a degree or two. Okay, so there we go. I finished it. Oh, sorry about that. 90 degrees even with the bar. The mount. I can pull this off. Back that off the tiniest little bit. Get out of there. And we're done. Pull out the holder tool, and there it is with the rubber, the plastic wrapped around, and that's just to protect the balancer from getting any nicks or whatever in it that might unbalance it. So we're just going to reverse the steps, put the serpentine belt back on, and I just pray to God that I didn't do something wrong, which I don't think I did. Thanks for watching. Okay, last but not least, don't forget to rehook up your rad fan. Little plug over there, and it took a few seconds to clean the engine. Literally a few seconds, foaming engine cleaner. And it would be silly to not look at the old pulley. Let's not kill ourselves. I just tripped over that stupid jack stand. Let's look at the old pulley. So this is usually where they fail, this rubber that is the dampener between the drive pulley, the crankshaft wheel, like the center, and the belt driven outside. And if you look at that rubber, where there's a spot where it's coming up right there. See that? That's separated by a couple of millimeters. You can see that lip. And then if we go along further, like here, not separated at all the way along this side. So this thing was out of balance, and this is going to cause poor idling and shaky idling and all kinds of stuff, and this is going to eventually explode if you have bad luck. Oh, look at the back. Nice. Ooh, this might have just been around the right time to get this thing out. Look at that. 280,000 original Ks, and this is the original crank pulley. But you can see where the rubber has sunk in there, and that is all that is holding these two metal sections together, is this rubber that's bonded in between the two. And yeah, that was definitely yeah, that was good timing putting this on. That could have been another day, a week, a month, could have been 2 years, God knows, but yeah.